Do I take a breath before I give advice or protection and say, have I heard what she has to say? And do I allow myself to say to her, I trust you. I trust you. Welcome to More Than Small Talk. We're Susie Eller,
Jennifer Watson,
and Holly Girth, writers and real life friends. We're inviting you to go deeper, become freer, and feel more connected.
So imagine you have a cup of coffee, a mug of tea, or a green smoothie in your hand,
and we're all hanging out in your favorite place together.
We're so glad you're with us this week, and we are touching on a topic that Jennifer really wanted to have a conversation around. So I'm going to pass it to her to give you a bit of background before we jump in.
Yes. So I got really keyed up. I was on social media, and one of my dear friends, who is the sweetest person in the whole entire world, was just sharing about 2 resources that were extremely helpful to her. Well, that turned into quite a problem for everybody else. And I waited for 2 days. I was sitting on this, and she was being questioned about her faith, letting the wrong voices in, and a hard time in her life. And I was like, sister, I trust you. I trust her and her character, her faith, her tenacity to make the right decisions about the resources that she's doing. And I was like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. But I was keyed up. And so finally, I just wanted to just say, I trust you, and just be a voice of support. I also messaged her, on the side and said, hey, I left a comment. If you think it's going to make some people mad, then by all means leave it. But if it makes you uncomfortable, delete it. But I just want to be really loud in my support of you. So I was just talking to Susie and Holly about this, and I just felt like someone else might need to hear that too, because we are so hard on ourselves, and all of the voices, which are very active on Facebook, and all the comments. I just want our voices to be the supportive ones. And I did reach out to this friend, and she did say, she's like, not one of those people checked on me on the 3 hardest years of my life. Yeah. And I thought, what can I do as a believer to do better at that?
Yeah.
I just saying, sister, I trust you, but I also support you.
Yeah. I think it's a knee-jerk reaction, Jennifer. I think that social media has created something within our relationships with each other where we're quick to advise without having walked in somebody else's shoes or truly even understanding the depth of what they're trying to say. And I remember as we were sitting, always chips and queso, we were sitting and eating and talking about this. What I said is, all she did was talk about 2 books that she liked. I mean, literally, this was such an innocent comment that was, I read 2 books. They were really helpful to me in a very hard time. Mm-hmm. And I just want to share these with you.
Yeah.
And then, bam, all of these comments, and so many of them saying, and couched in very, I don't even know the right word, sweet and harsh at the same time. Like, oh, sister, I love you. And so I want to tell you, this is probably a book you shouldn't read. And it makes me question where you're turning. And I'm worried about you. And I'm going to pray for you. And we're all like, I feel like if she were carrying bricks, these were bricks being added onto that, to the weight, and they weren't helpful.
They weren't helpful
at all. So I'm going to throw out a confession question. And maybe as you're listening, you can share this with a friend and answer this same question. But can you describe a time where you were really listening to God and leaning in, but afraid to say something or do something because of what other people might think? Can you share a time like that, any of us?
I went through a time where I was realizing I didn't realize what was happening to me was actually abusive. And as I began to just wrestle this out and talk in therapy about it, I had approached a woman of faith who worked alongside me. And I was really scared to talk about this thing, but I was also like, I needed support. And she knew me and she worked alongside me and knew my heart. And when I said, this is happening and it's abusive, I got in exchange for that. But sometimes we think people are being abusive and it's really not.
Oh, Jennifer.
And I got a lot of that.
That hurts my heart.
Me too.
It makes me sad.
So I sat there and I just sat there in shock, really. Probably a lot like my friend getting all of these comments just about sharing 2 books. But I sat there in absolute shock. And I went, this person's no longer safe for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that our relationship completely changed because what I got was, don't say a thing to anybody because it's probably all in your head.
Wow.
So that's pretty heavy.
Mm-hmm.
But
it happened.
But it happened. So that's a little heavier than 2 books, but it all falls into what we say to people really matters. And so I was really afraid of what people thought for a really good reason because they weren't supportive.
Yeah.
They wanted to water down what was happening. So I would gloss over it. And that was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think anyone who publicly communicates in any way these days deals with this.
Yeah. Whether that's a pastor or any place where your voice is being heard by more than one person.
Yes.
Right.
And so I feel like that is, obviously as a writer, anytime I think about writing a new book, it's like I have 50 voices in my head.
Yeah.
True.
So we live in a culture where we're allowed to give our opinions on everything from restaurants to people's marriages to their reading choices. And it's almost become like knee jerk. Like basically what happened to your friend was like everyone reviewed her life choice.
Yeah.
Like if it were on Amazon, they'd be like 1 star, 1 star. I mean,
yes.
And so that like 1 star, I don't know what that is. Like I hadn't even thought about that until I said this out loud. But like, what is that? Because I feel like it's different than pre-social media where you would have had to have that conversation in person.
Correct.
And probably it would have gone very differently.
Yeah.
For your friend. So what is that?
I don't think it's just opinion.
Yeah.
I think it's judgment.
Yes.
And I think it's knee-jerk judgment. It's we instantly assume we know someone else's story without asking them what the story is.
Right.
But with the cover of protection over it.
And
that's when it gets confusing, I think.
Confusing.
Like it's not like something that's outright like I'm judging you. It's I'm protecting you, but it
from yourself.
Feels like judgment.
Yeah.
Because it is judgment.
It is, but it's
judgment.
Yeah.
It is judgment. And that's the thing. And even saying that, I'm like, okay, I'm being judgmental right now. I think the protective part of me that came in when I was reading this was I really know this person well, like really, really well. And she's got one of the most pure hearts in the whole world. And even her responses to this were filled with grace and lightness. And I also reached out to her privately and just said, hey, you okay?
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff in your social media today. And she came back and said, I'm so used to it. Because she walked through a hard season after things in her life went south and they had nothing to do with her. And so she was already bearing the weight of these other things. But I think the heart of this is, while I cannot change how everybody's acting on social media, I'm not big enough. I want to look at my own heart and say, do I take a breath before I give advice or protection and say, have I heard what she has to say? And do I allow myself to say to her, I trust you. I trust you. If you want to let me in, let me in. If you need me, I'm here.
Just, I think that where I wrestled the most with this is that it was couched with, a spiritual angle that immediately made her feel bad. And she had to do a follow-up post that was even longer,
About
and that's
two
what I call
books.
about 2 books.
About 2 books. We got to stop.
So I think but like that's where we're afraid of what people might think. And so many people give us a really good reason to be
Yeah.
afraid of that because everybody's got opinion. And I've certainly had so many opinions and I've certainly misstepped and mishandled someone else's pain or story. And I know that. And I think that that's why I want to do better at that. But I also want to look at everyone in this room, everybody's listening and saying, I trust you. I think there's moments in our lives where we don't trust ourselves and we know that we are going through something really, really hard. So we surround ourselves with voices that we can trust who remind us the truth. But we need to start building people up a little bit better. And that's why I wanted to do this because I just thought, man, that was harsh to listen to all of that. Well-meaning, of course, but yeah, unnecessary.
Yeah.
I think too, pausing and asking, like, what am I trying to accomplish?
Mhm.
Because if we think following Jesus is all about being good,
Yeah.
then that behavior makes sense. Like, oh, she's doing something bad.
Yeah.
She doesn't realize it. I'm going to help her be good.
Mhm.
And when really life with Jesus is an intimate journey of my favorite word, belovedness.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that gives us room to say, I trust you and Jesus.
Yes.
Like, I trust your journey
Yeah.
with him. And I, like you said, Suze, I'm here if you need
Yeah.
help or support. But the goal isn't to be good. And relationships are messy,
Mhm.
including our relationship with Jesus. And so to let people have the freedom to figure that out for themselves,
Yeah.
I think can be a beautiful gift. But pausing and saying, like, am I making this about bad and good, or is this really about the heart?
Right. And I also think we can just respond with follow-up questions.
Yeah.
I was in the car with one of my granddaughters who is growing up overnight. My goodness. And she was really upset with something that had happened. And honestly, as I was listening to it, it felt like her upsetness was way bigger than what had happened. And it was all kinds of opportunity for me to come in and diminish that, which would have been the wrong move. But I just asked a question and I said, can you tell me why this has made you feel like this? I would really love to know.
Mhm.
And it got deep fast. And I realized that the surface thing that was happening wasn't what was really happening. It was a trigger on top of other things that were hard. So I think being able to ask a question, say of our friend who was recommending these 2 books that were kind of outside the circle of Christianese, they were really healthy books about betrayal and
Yeah.
and how to go through that. And so to be able to ask the question, just say, "Hey, what did you love about that book?
Yeah.
Why did that resonate with you so much?" To create a conversation rather than condemnation, I think is a really good first step
Yeah.
for all of us.
Yeah. And I do think about the sweet, well-intentioned people. They really want to be of help. For
They
the
weren't
most
being
part,
mean.
they were not being mean. I feel like they really, but I do think that when people stop telling you things, like we want to know, well, why won't people just come to me? This person in my life that kind of wanted to gloss over what I was going through, she wanted to mentor people so badly. And I thought, this is why you don't have people coming to you, like this moment right here. And I never said that to her. I would never, because it would break her heart in two. But we want to do good things in life and we want to be a safe place. So how do we do that better?
Yeah. And I think what happened, in both cases, was people shifted into a one up, one down relational dynamic,
Yeah.
which can feel condescending and critical. And we are not called to that. We are called to one another.
Yes.
Yes.
And so even
Thank you.
realigning that and saying, like, am I coming into this in a one up or one down position? Or am I entering into it in a one another way? Which again
Yeah.
is, sister, I trust
It's
you.
really
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And I love that that's the model we're given, is one another.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, Holly, what I want to do in this conversation is I want to look at my own heart in this. And I want to ask myself, you know, Father, are there times that I do a knee-jerk reaction? And the answer is absolutely yes. Most likely in this situation, I had a knee-jerk reaction, which was,
Yeah.
stop it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what is my motivation? And how can I respond in a way that is one another, that is kind, that is trusting? Listen, trusting until somebody breaks that trust is kind of key.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, if we go in not trusting, and maybe that's the heart of what we were talking about just a minute ago. Maybe it's about not trusting. Maybe it's about not trusting our sisters, not trusting Jesus, not trusting. And so we're coming in, we're going to fix it. We're throwing on our superwoman cape and we're jumping in, and it's not judgment. We're trying to fix it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So maybe that's the heart. Just, you can tell we're just trying to unravel
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
as we talk.
Yeah.
I think too, there's always fear underneath it. So pausing and saying, what am I afraid of?
Yeah.
Like, people were afraid our friend was going down a path that wasn't going to be good for her.
Yeah.
And so, but I think pausing and actually saying, like, what am I afraid of?
Yeah.
And then the answer to that question, is that my responsibility?
Yeah.
Right.
And how do I love her well right now?
Mhm.
Instead of, giving advice. So I think just asking that too,
Yeah.
because this is really about fear. We're reacting in fear in ways that just aren't that helpful. So if
Yeah.
we can swap that out and say, okay, I'm a little concerned about her.
Mm.
Maybe I'll send her a note and just say, hey, I just want you to know I love you. If those books spoke to you, you probably have been through something hard.
Yeah.
And if that's true, then I'm here and I'm safe.
Yes.
So I think pausing and saying what would be truly helpful instead of just what is my fear telling me to manage that
Yeah.
may not be mine to carry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
You know,
good.
there's times that I've had, and it's been rare, but I've had somebody come in who doesn't understand my heart, that have put what they believe to be my story on me. And there's times that I have to realize also it's not my job to debate with them. It's not my job to prove myself. It's not. And we can get caught in that trap too, where we're continually having to write post or share and just say, guys, look at my heart. There came a point where I had to say, I know my heart, and the Lord knows my heart. And I don't have to fight every fight. I don't have to clear up every misconception.
Yeah.
Just going to lean into Jesus and be Susie. And, my heart is to do well. My heart is
Yeah.
to do good.
Mhm.
And certainly, if somebody trusted, if Holly or Jennifer or Kara came to me and said, Suze, I think that you have fallen off on a path and
Yeah.
we're really worried about you, I would hear that. But I don't have to hear all the voices and embrace them as my own.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think love is given, trust is earned. If
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
hasn't earned trust in your life, then they also haven't earned the right to speak into it.
Yes.
That's
And
true.
And how often do we listen,
Yeah.
though?
Yeah.
And how often do we come back and try to
Mhm.
help them
Yeah,
understand?
Of course we
Yeah.
do. 'Cause
Yeah.
We're highly
Yeah.
relational and we
Yeah.
want that.
We
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So for the woman who's out there and she's saying, man, here's some things that God is really putting on my heart to do. And they're going to be bold or brave or courageous or curious. And and they're in line with his heart and with the word of God. But I know that if I take this step, I'm going to have people thinking I've lost my way. What do we say to her?
Say, you don't need their approval.
Yeah.
You already have his approval.
You have God's
So-
approval.
And I trust you. Like, those
Yeah.
would be my go-to. Is like, everybody else doesn't have to sign off on your calling.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a conference call.
Yeah.
It's individual, it's intimate, it's personal, it's deep. And that's a us and Jesus thing.
Yeah.
And I do think having at least one person in your life that you do trust
Yeah.
Mhm.
to call you out if it's
Yes.
necessary.
Yes.
I mean, that
Yes.
creates
Absolutely,
safety. Like
yeah.
if you know there's someone in your life that if
Yes.
something is actually going on, they will with love and grace
Yeah.
say, hey,
What's
hey,
going
sister.
on?
Yeah.
What's going
You
on?
know,
Yeah.
let's have some chips and queso.
Yeah.
Keiko, I like that too. Chips and Keiko. That's going to be a new thing. I like this.
I do.
All right.
I do.
It's going to be my restaurant that I open. So, but yes, like I think because we don't want to be isolated, but we also don't want to be just pushed around by every opinion.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
saying like, who are the voices in my life that I'm going to listen to, even if
Yeah.
what they say is hard to hear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then what are the
Agree.
people that I say, I love you, and I see
Yeah.
that you're trying to help,
Yeah.
but you don't get that level of access because
Yeah.
you're not ready for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
Right.
good.
Well, so to the sister who is listening right now, and you've been just on your face and you've been praying and you feel God asking you to take a brave step, and some people might not understand it, but it's in line with God's word. It's in line with who He is and who you are. And I just want to say you're brave and you're courageous, and we trust you, sister.
And that's it for today's episode. Thanks for going deeper, becoming freer, and connecting with us. More Than Small Talk is a part of the KLRC Podcast Network and is produced by Kara Culver. Show notes and resources are available on the More Than Small Talk page on klrc.com. You can also join us in our Facebook group. Subscribe to More Than Small Talk on your favorite app so you won't ever miss an episode.